Let's do a bit of revision on financial maths. The cost of borrowing money. So we've either got simple interest or compound interest. Simple interest is you get the same amount of interest every year, nothing changes. So if I got 10% this year, I get 10% of the next year. I get 10%, 10%, 10%. Compound interest is when you get interest on your interest. So if you got 10% one year, that gets added on, and then you get 10% of that new amount the next year. So simple interest follows the formula I equals PRT. Compound interest follows the formula A equals P1 plus R to the N. So for simple interest, the interest equals the principal, the amount borrowed, the rate as a decimal, so that's the percentage, and time in years. Whereas compound interest, the total amount is the principal multiplied by 1 plus R, where R is a decimal, per annum means is years, and N is the time in years. So for simple interest, you can work out the amount total amount is the interest plus the principal. Let's have a look at an example. So let's have a look at a simple interest example. I borrow $20,000 for 5 years at 9.5%. What is the interest charged over the period of the loan, and what is the total amount repaid? So I've borrowed $20,000 for 5 years at 9.5%. The first thing you need to do is change 9.5% to a decimal. So that's 9.5 divided by 100, which equals 0.095. The formula for simple interest, always write it down, I equals PRT. So the principal is how much I started with, so that's $20,000, times the rate, which is 0.095, and the time was 5 years. And if I put that in my calculator, I get $9,500. That tells me the interest charged over the loan. The total amount to be repaid is the interest plus the principal. You've got to pay back both of them, right? So it would be $9,500 plus the 20, which is $29,500. Here are 3 examples for you to practice with. So this time there's a different one missing to what was shown before. So if I give you I, P and T, you'd have to work out R. If I give you R, T and I, you'd have to work out P. And if I give you I, P and R, you'd have to work out T. So if I rearrange that formula, I get I equals PRT, and there's the 3 versions of rearranging it. Have a go at those questions. Remember, time has to be in years. So 6 months is the fraction is going to be 6 out of 12. 9 months is 9 out of 12 months of the year. Okay, so that's the only tip I'll give you. The answers are actually on page 5 of chapter 1, it's the worked examples. So let's do a comparison now between simple interest and compound interest. I borrowed $12,500 for 7 years at 15%. So if it was simple interest, it would be a simple case of I equals PRT. So $12,500 times 7 years times 0.15. I've actually swapped those two around. So that's actually T. That one's T and that one's R. Doesn't matter. So that works out at $13,125. If I had done that compound interest, let's have a look at what that would have worked out to be. So the total amount is the principal multiplied by 1 plus the rate to the power of n. So I've got my $12,500, 1 plus 0.15, that's my rate, to the power of 7, that's my time in years. So I've got $12,500 times 1.15 to the power of 7. So you actually have to press that in your calculator and you would get $33,250.25. The total amount of interest is the total loan amount minus the principal. So the total loan was the $33,250.25 minus the principal, which was $12,500. That gives you $20,750. So you can see by doing simple interest or compound interest, it makes a huge difference to the actual value of what you have to repay.